Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today I'm going to tie a LivelyLegz metallic coffee stonefly. The hook that I have in the vise is the LivelyLegz lip splitter. This is 573, size 10. These are hopper nymph, down eye, 1 extra strong and 2 extra long. This is a bronzed hook. The bead that I have on there is the LivelyLegz Down and Dirty tungsten beads, and these are metallic coffee. Really nice color on these beads. I'm going to use a brown thread, and this is a 140 denier. Now, although I have a 3.3 millimeter tungsten bead on there, I'm going to use 20 thousandths lead-free wire in addition. I'm going to put about a dozen wraps on there. Go ahead and break that off. And I'm just going to wrap this last piece right around. That'll give me like 2 more turns. Push it all into the bead itself. Now I'm going to take my thread, I'm going to start the thread behind the lead wraps, and I'm going to push it into the bead. And just secure it a little bit. Once you push it into the bead, it's basically secured. Putting wraps on top is more so the material you use won't go inside the lead wrap spaces. I'm going to bring my thread back to the tail position, and right where it's hanging at the barb. Now for the legs and antenna, I'm going to use Crazy Legz, and these are a metallic coffee Crazy Legz. I have a pair out already, and I'm going to tie them in at the back. And in order to save on the amount you're using, try to keep them about 1 inch. These are 2 different lengths right here. I'm going to have to trim there. But if you try to keep them to the length you want right off the bat, you're not going to have to trim that much. We're going to go ahead and tie this in. You can pull them to the side. You can pull them more to the sides. Now I'm going to wrap forward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch those legs a little bit in order to further save on some material there. You never know, you might come up with just enough for that 1 extra fly, and hey, who doesn't like to save a couple pennies at a time? Adds up. We're going to get that right up there. You can see I'm palmering my wrap. Get that right up to the bead. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim these at about 1 inch. You could really let those hang. You could leave them, make them a little longer if you want. I'm going to pull them off to the sides there. Get a nice pair there. Now I'm going to take LivelyLegz, get them to the bottom there. I'm going to take the LivelyLegz, and these are the large size, 4, 6, and 8. Although this is a 10. I like those larger legs. These are the brown legs. I think they might have a little bit of speckle in them, but I don't think it really matters. Just to keep that more or less dark, that darker theme on this fly going. I really don't know how close I'm coming to a double treble, by LivelyLegz, but I'm just going to call this a metallic Stonefly. So I took my legs and I trimmed the front tab to where it is inside the legs. I'm going to place that on there, and I'm holding it a little bit towards my side, and I'm bumping the tab up to, basically up to the bead or to those rubber antennae. When you hold it on the side, you're going to end up with it right on top. And then come behind that second set of legs. Oop. And what's happening here a little bit is my thread is going inside the lead wraps. Give it one wrap behind, and then I'm going to give it a bit of a figure eight, and you can see how they're going down there a bit. When I get back up to the top, I can figure eight those front legs, and they'll go down a bit. We're going to trim off that third set, just a little bit too long. If you have them on a 4, 6, or 8, you know, you might be able to get, you probably will be able to get the 3 sets in there. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to do a little bit of a figure eight on that front legs. And this one here, I don't know if I nipped it or what, but one little part of that leg is missing, but it'll still fish. And you'll still get the idea of how to tie it. I'm going to give it a wrap underneath the tail. Now for a rib, I'm going to take a fine copper wire, fine or extra fine. This is an extra fine. As soon as I find the end of it, getting a little low on this one. Have to take another motor apart. This is gonna take a few, unwrap a few turns. I like this extra fine. It's strong, but you can break it easy. You don't have to helicopter, you could just break it right off. So we're gonna tie this tag in. Yeah, give it a few wraps going up. Gonna actually even out those tails. You can see they're a little bit, whoop, get them both. They're a little uneven, so I'm going to go ahead and even out those tails. Now for the abdomen, I'm going to use, this is actually a dyed orange pheasant tail center, but it's not going to look orange. It's going to look more of that coffee, metallic coffee color. You can use the natural pheasant tail, and you get that dark side. So I'm going to take about a dozen of these, I guess. Make a fatter abdomen. This is a large fly. So I'm going to take them and I'm going to tie them in by the tips. Could even go ahead and trim off those very tips, because they would get tied down anyway. And we're going to bring our thread up to the legs. You could even put them in between. Now we're going to put our hackle pliers on there. And when I hold it up, you got a loose one there already. You want to rotate it clockwise and then start to turn. And then as you go, you're rotating it one rotation every time. So I had to turn it sideways so I can see where I'm going to get rid of that loose one. I had to turn it sideways so I could see the point of the hook. And you can see it's not it's not coming out orange. And I'm just going to extend these just that little bit and back it up. Just give them a little bit of extension so I can get that one more wrap in there. Oh, didn't get them all. There we go. Yeah, I missed one. Look at this hanging off the back here. Go ahead and pull that out. And I'll bring that up between the legs and tie it in there. Now, when you go to trim these off, be careful you don't catch the antenna or the legs. I can see I'm going to need 2 snips here. Yeah, where's that one? There we go. There we go. And then we have the abdomen. Now we're going to take the rib, and you can see that tail kind of pulled there a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to counter wrap it, but I'm going to throw a wrap behind the tail, and that just might help split them. No, but it's still pretty good. Then I'm going to counter wrap and palmer this forward. Make some nice open spirals, maybe about 4 or 5. Get it to that position that you're comfortable tying it in at, which is going to be for me right between the legs. I'm going to give it a couple of wraps. Could bend it over and put a couple on top. And just break that right off. That's that extra fine wire. See, there's a little piece there. That's just going to get sucked in there. There we go. Now for the wing case, I'm going to take turkey tail. This cinnamon tip turkey tail. And I'm going to take about a 1/2 inch. Because when you pull the wing case over, it's going to get smaller. You can see it's already getting smaller. Oh, there we go. Now I'm going to trim off a lot of this. I want to get up closer to that molted color there. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off a big chunk of this. We're going to tie this in. Try tying it in between the legs. Then you can help flatten it out. There we go. Can help flatten it out and then hold it flat. See, I'm holding it flat. And then get that wrap behind that legs. And I'm going to put my thread again between the legs. Now here's a really nice thorax material, and this is emu feather. The emu feather isn't, the herl on the emu feather isn't quite as long as an ostrich herl, or yeah, as the herl on the ostrich. You can see the ostrich is much larger. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off, take 2 pieces of it, just like you would with peacock herl. You could go ahead and use peacock herl in there if you want. I'm trying to keep to that coffee look. And I'm going to tie these in by the tips. Emu is some really nice stuff, especially the natural color. Unfortunately, all I have is this single feather here. I'm going to tie them in at the middle again. Put one wrap behind those back legs and bring the thread up the front and put it in front of the front legs, right behind the bead. Now I can take the emu feather and I can wrap this. I'm going to get a wrap, maybe 2 wraps in back, then I'm going to cross over underneath, because when you're doing nymphs, the bottom is what you want to concentrate on. The wing case is going to hide any spaces on top. Got a couple there. I'm actually going to put my hackle pliers on there. It's getting a little small. There we go. And I'm going to get a couple of wraps right up front. I'm going to leave it down the bottom because it's getting small. I need a little bit of space to clip it off there. Take my hackle pliers off that, and I can turn it over, and I can safely trim that without getting the legs. You know, nice and full that is. Now we're going to take our turkey tail, our wing case, and we're going to lay that flat over the top, and then we're going to tie that in. I sucked in the antenna. Go ahead, straighten that out. A couple of wraps on top, fold it back, get yourself a wrap or 2 in front of it. Now carefully, once again, so you don't cut anything you don't want to, trim that excess. I thought I trimmed that too far, but that's good. Now we could go ahead and tie that off, or we could go ahead and get some nice darker brown dubbing. I'm going to take some dark brown dubbing, and I'm just going to use this to hide the threads with. Try to make a skinny noodle. Getting it in there nice and tight. Get it, there we go. Now I got one wrap on there. I'm going to go ahead and take my whip finish and finish the wrap. Hold that right on top. I have to turn it so I can see that far leg there. 2. And we'll give it that last one. And tighten that up. Trim that off. Put some head cement on there. Go ahead and tease that dubbing out there just a little bit. There we go. Put our head cement on there. And I'm not going to clean my brush too well. I'm going to get head cement on the wing case all the way up to the bead. Just a little extra protection for that wing case. Expect to catch big fish on this, and big fish have sharp teeth. And here we have a LivelyLegz metallic coffee stonefly. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors and let them know I sent you. If you'd like to purchase any flies from me, go to etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim and leave comments, questions, suggestions, and most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.